This topic, I've unfortunately not been streaming due to circumstances while all of this has sort of been unfolding and happening. But as you can imagine, this whole thing, if you know anything about me, really did catch my attention. You should know that about me if you watch a lot of my content. And if you know me, you already know what I'm talking about. The Titan sub world tragedy, basically. The world watching this this occurrence, this tragedy, and it sort of taking over all of social media and everyone's thoughts and their conversation. Everybody was just focused on this submarine for days, right? Now, if you know me well, then you know that I have a little bit of an autistic hyperfixation of sorts on submarines. Particularly modern, like, sleek, more consumer, like, non-research sub, but, like, recreational submarine technology. Which is something that has actually, within the last decade or so, started to become a thing. Now, I should remind you all that the submarine that was responsible for this tragedy we'll be talking about was not made by the same company or any company associated with the submarine I'm about to show you that I fucking want, and if you've watched me for a while, you know that I want. And the submarine I'm about to show you here, unlike the sub that we're going to talk about, actually was made following strict safety guidelines that have been standard in the submarine manufacturing industry for a very, very long time. Something the CEO of Ocean Expeditions, the guy who was running the Titan sub, did not want to follow and refused to do, and actually would make fun of said safety regulations. This sub is safe and is also rated for the depths that it goes down to, and is made of things like contiguous titanium and acrylic, things that aren't going to give way at a high depth. In fact, these are materials that get stronger the more pressure is put on them. Check this shit out. I still want this, okay? This whole Titan sub thing has not scared me away from wanting one of these. Vosh did a segment on these a while back because I made him do a segment on these a while back. I got him into this shit. It is just it's just an in real life sea moth. That's literally what it is. It's a sea moth in real life. It goes down 300 meters. Or sorry, 100 meters, 300 feet. They made Subnautica real? They did, yeah. Yeah, next dono goal is literal sea moth. Should I do that just for the meme? Set the dono goal to $500,000 and just make it sea moth? So this is an acrylic ball, like an acrylic dome, and this is titanium steel. Or not titanium steel, titanium, like, plate. So this shit can handle it. This is actually, like, a good piece of technology made by a very reputable company that makes, like, research submarines that go down thousands of meters, you know? And now they're making cool, like, recreational ones for rich people to own, right? This guy, the guy who did the Titan research submarine expedition bullshit, well, we'll get more into that in a minute, but it was nowhere near the levels of safety, you know, guidelines and standards that this submarine meets. Have you looked into the engineering of the Challenger Deep? I have. I actually have. I've watched, like, a lot of documentary stuff about James Cameron and his whole, like, submersible ventures and whatnot. Safety is waste. Yeah, that was the quote, I believe, from the CEO of the Ocean Expedition guy. Anyway, we'll get more into the fuckery behind all of that soon, but I just want you all to know nothing has changed. Now, you saw that really slick, high-tech, well-made submarine, right? That Nemo 2 model submarine from U-Boat Works? Well, this is the OceanGate Expedition Titan class, or Titan submarine, This is the one, I believe, actually, that got crushed and imploded. There are a few things wrong with this submarine that experts have been pointing out. One is that it's made with a carbon fiber titanium weave of a material. It's not contiguous. It's not like a solid plate of material. It's like a fibrous weave of material. It's not the same like structural integrity that is necessary to go down thousands of feet down to the Titanic wreck. This type of material is maybe suitable for, a few 100 feet, but not for thousands of feet. On top of that, there are several points of failure, or possible points of failure, such as the windows, which are not rated for the depth they were going down to. Several other things have been theorized to be where this piece of machinery failed, and it would have caused just an entire, inward collapse, a full-on implosion that would be over in half a second. But yeah, this thing was not rated safely. This was not the kind of submarine that experts in the submarine industry would say is safe. In fact, going onto this submarine, you had to sign a waiver that at several points says you will probably die. You very well may die, and you are waiving all liability from us if you die. This was a very experimental, shoddy submarine. Now, one of the things people point to, actually, about how this submarine was experimental and shoddy is the fact that it's controlled, or piloted, I should say, with a controller. With an Xbox 360, game controller. And that's actually been one of the less, scathing things to point out about the submarine. Because when it comes to submarines, yeah, the controller is actually pretty common. Unironically, controllers are pretty common, but usually they're modified. And they're much, nicer. So to give you an idea, actually, for a direct example of what a high-end, actual proper controller for piloting a submarine would look like, I will show you a video of what the Nemo 2 submarine looks like on the inside. The guy who does this tour is a fucking obnoxious dude, and I don't like him. I just don't like his personality. I don't like his face. I'm sorry, it's just how it is. But this will give you a good idea of what the difference between these are, and particularly the inside when you look at the controller. This is what the controller of the Nemo 2 sub looks like. It's a controller, but it's quite modified.
Well, to kind of show you where you're going. So yeah, the whole point is that this is a very easy thing to drive. Imagine someone gives you the wheel of a military submarine. Pretty intimidating, but with this, it's pretty self-explanatory. So anyways, it is time to jump inside the water.
Yeah, I would not advise Okay, also the controller, this is the best part though. The controller that was in the Titan sub was wireless. It was fucking wireless, dude. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you game, and you've ever gamed with a controller that's wireless before, there's been at least several points where you've been in the middle of a heated boss battle. Things are fucking tense, everything's going on, and all of a sudden the game pauses and it says, please plug in your controller, you've run out of battery. Or just all of a sudden, your controller loses connection and you just have no, you just can't control your character anymore. But in real life, things don't pause. What the fuck do you do? To be fair, though, they didn't even get close to the bottom when they imploded. They imploded on their way down, so it wasn't a situation of the controller being the problem. I think it just shows how thrown together this whole operation was. They were charging $200,000 per ticket. This is a very blatant cash grab scheme. But a cash grab scheme where the CEO himself was putting himself in the danger. So I don't even think that this was $250,000 per ticket, yes. So I don't even think this was so much like a blatantly selfish money-making scheme as much as a billionaire wanting to cut corners for fun and profit tied in together, right? Because these corners he was cutting, risk his own life. They don't even risk the lives of his workers, arguably, because he pilots the sub. As a matter of fact, A common quote I've been hearing about what was his name? I'm trying to remember what his name is. The CEO of Ocean Expeditions, the pilot of the sub, is that he's very experimental. Yeah, Stockton. Yeah, Stockton Rush. He's very experimental. He's very risk-taking with his piloting of subs. He's gotten himself into some snags before, but managed to get himself out of sheer luck and, arguable skill. It is very possible he might have done something stupid, but we really don't know. It is very likely that it was just like the manufacturing of the submarine was not good enough. His name was fucking Stockton Rush. Yes, a very rich person name. Isn't it wild how many rich people, they just have rich people names? It's like they were ordained to be rich by birth. It's almost like that's how our system works. Like rich people name their kids rich people names. Because they already know their kid's going to be rich because they're rich. Anyway, the passengers on the sub died. This is the CEO, I believe. I believe this is the French pilot who was on board. And this is the father and son who are also on board. And this is another rich guy who was also on board. They are all now essentially the equivalent of canned cranberry sauce now. Sadly, for particularly the kid. I will say that I can't. Zan, the rich guy's in the top. Yeah, Yeah, the kid I feel the most bad for. He was only 19 years old, and he was going with his dad on this trip as a Father's Day gift, and he didn't want to go. He was nervous. He was very, very nervous, and he ended up going anyway because it was Father's Day, and his dad wanted to go, and now he's dead. On the bright side, though, I can assure you that they actually didn't even, they didn't feel any pain. It wasn't like they were stuck in the submarine suffocating or starving to death or freezing to death, more likely, over the course of days, which is what we thought likely was what was going to happen before the wreckage was found, and we found out that they had, imploded. This was arguably, considering how things were going to go, the best case scenario, especially because if they were stuck down there, rescuers were saying options for getting them back up were very limited. Decompression would have taken a very long time. Hell, just getting them unsnagged or unhooked would have been practically impossible. So even if they were down there alive without power or just stuck or something, there was just nothing they could have done. There really wasn't. There was really likely to be nothing that could have been done. However, that does mean that the way they went was painless and instantaneous. They didn't even hear, before they died, they didn't even hear.
Landing flagged. Emergency speed. Warning. Fire detected.
They didn't hear any of this, okay? There was no panic or oh shit, shit's going down. Things are failing. It was just instantaneous, no doubt, because one single failure within the hull of a submarine, and it just goes at that depth, right? Thousands of feet down. So it wasn't exactly a horrific experience for them, which is, I guess, a comforting thought if you are sad about how things went and you are, invested in the well-being of the passengers of the sub. Personally, the 19-year-old kid that went along is the one who I feel the most bad about. The CEO of the company, not a single bit. This was on him. But yeah. I've been saying it sounds like a character from a Netflix original, one of the bad guys from You or something. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about particularly. I know the Netflix original reference. I know what you mean by that, but I've never heard of You. I feel bad about the kid, but all the adults in the situation seem to be out of their fucking minds. Yeah, no, I mean, the kid was a victim of this. The adults took him there and signed waivers, and the CEO, created that situation in the first place. TBH Zan, they probably heard the delaminating of the carbon fiber for a few moments before it happened. Do you really think so? Because it would have happened pretty much instantly. Like, it would have happened, like, so fast. It's a small sub. That's the thing. It's just a tube. No, Zan, it would begin to crumple. No shot. Real? Everything that I've seen so far says that the second anything would have started to give way, it would have been over. Like, it would have been perfectly fine looking until there was a like, the second a visual point of, like, failure would have been visible, the whole thing just would have gone. It would have been a chain reaction of just, it's Jover, it's gone, it's vaporized. Not sure if this is true or not, but I heard they dropped their weights, which means there was a moment of worry on their part. Interesting. 6 people died, not 5. Zan, there was a stowaway on board that resulted in a 6th death. You gotta see this. No shot. Now you're trolling. You're trolling. They panicked. So your theory is that they panicked. Okay, so from what I've seen, all the experts that I've watched, the controller allegedly survived. All the experts that I've looked into have said it would have been pretty instantaneous, and from what we know, they died, like, they were just descending, and then it just kind of gave way. You're trolling, I'm pretty sure. Why are you... okay, I'll click it. This better not be a troll. Actually, no, I'm going to Google it, because I don't want you to troll me. I don't want to fall for it. I'm Googling it. Okay, really quick, before we stunlock any further on the submarine topic, I do want to say, I want to show you guys one of the fucking craziest submarines I've ever seen before. There are submarines that are used to smuggle drugs.
What's going
This shit is maximum sketch, but actually not really, because they don't go that deep.
Vessel used to smuggle drugs. These things are designed specifically to travel in open waters and to avoid radar and other means of detection. These drug subs are pretty difficult to find, unless, of course, the government has been tipped off as to their whereabouts beforehand. Take a look at this footage of the US Coast Guard seizing a narco sub.
He's gonna bang on the hatch.
The dude literally jumps off his boat, hops on and starts bashing his way inside. This seizure got 18,000 pounds of cocaine. That's over $300 million worth of drugs.
Damn, those Coast Guard guys had a fun day. They had a fun day after that. Holy shit.
One of the craziest things about these to me is that these things are custom
They had
made.
the best boat party after that.
You can't exactly go to a store and ask for a stealth submarine and not expect the government to take notice.
Narco subs are really crudely built and finished, and they're very unpleasant, but they're remarkably good at doing their job. And the guys who design them are master boat builders. There's a lot of ingenuity that goes in and true engineering. While they're not individually comparable to something the Navy would have, they're very good at what they're designed to do. And so even though all narco subs kind of look similar, certainly to the untrained eye, there's actually distinct families, and you can say this narco sub was built by the same person or designed by the same person who built that one.
These ones are the crazy ones that are in like the rivers and the swamps. I'm going to show you one that's like literally a gas-powered swamp drug running sub. I want to try to find it.
And there's probably 10, 20 active, if not more.
Here's one
of these master boat builders, and they are genuine engineers.
They could cost up to $2 million to build, and then they're used only one trip just to go from point A to point B and then abandoned.
4 guys in there, and there's no toilet, there's minimal luxury, there's no fridge, it's going to be noisy, smelly, you're going to stink of diesel and everything else that's in there.
When you see the size of them, you see...
I want to see if there's like... Yeah, this is a good video that explains it, but not a very good video as far as showing what I wanted to show, like how sketchy submarines can get, like, theoretically. Well, I can't find a good video, but I think you guys know what I mean. Here's the interesting thing, though, okay? Oh, also, I think mandatory mention that at least the iron lung, which the Titan sub also involves you getting bolted into it. The iron lung at least had a fucking hatch that went down over the window. Because even the prisoner they sent down for their execution, they were like, you know what? We'll add a hatch to the window that isn't rated for that depth. So the window doesn't just bust immediately and cause a full implosion. At least the iron lung had a fucking window. If they had gone down in the iron lung, they would have literally been safer. The iron lung didn't get fucked up on its own. It had to hit shit to get fucked up. Things had to like break it. On its own, it was doing pretty okay. Better than the Titan sub did. So shout out to the iron lung for literally being better made than the Titan sub was. Unironically. Hell, the fucking iron lung had a computer built into it where you could, like, use a console and look things up. Okay, but here's the final part of this video. That's the craziest thing, all right? The final part of this video, and this is the craziest thing, is that a YouTuber I watch almost fucking died in this tragedy. You see, I'm a Florida boy, all right? I grew up in the South. I grew up in Florida. Spent a lot of time swimming in rivers and springs, and in the ocean, of course, as well. Which means I watch a lot of YouTube content that centers around snorkeling, scuba diving, swimming in springs and rivers in Florida and the rest of the South and whatnot. And one of those channels is called DallMYD. I actually don't know how he pronounces it. It's DALLMYD. Big channel. Big channel, 13.5 million subscribers, but very different genre of content from what I imagine many of you watch, and, you know, from what the content that I make, right? Very big channel and does very good content. He does a lot of stuff where he's, like, diving in rivers and picking up trash, collecting iPhones and rings and jewelry and returning them to their owners. He's a good guy. I like his stuff a lot. However, recently, literally a week before this whole Titan sub tragedy, he got invited out by OceanGate expeditions to go down to the Titan sub to the Titanic. And he accepted. So he went there. He met the CEO. He met two of the victims that would later die on that submarine a week before this all happened. And he uploaded the video of his experience. The video footage itself is pretty lighthearted because, you know, they didn't know the tragedy that was going to occur in a week. But he made a video, and basically he explained his personal experience because he came really close to dying. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and watch.
With the whole world watching the rescue efforts of the missing submarine around the Titanic, I thought I'd share my experience.
He didn't know that the people on the submarine were dead when he started the video, by the way. I should mention that.
Of Mission 3 just a few weeks ago, and if my dive wasn't canceled, it could have been me inside that submarine today. This is a picture taken of Stock and Rush and I, the owner of OceanGate Expeditions, as I was weighing in for our sub dive for the day. In my hands, I have a chocolate chip cookie, 2 peanut butter jelly sandwiches, and of course my camera equipment so I can record and document my experience in the submersible. What you're about to watch is footage from Mission 3, days before the submersible went missing on Mission 5. It has taken place on the exact same ship, and I was also in the exact same submersible that is missing today. All the footage you're watching is either filmed by me or my beautiful girlfriend Kendall, who joined me for this adventure. For more behind the scenes footage, make sure you check out her social media. I'll have links to that in the description below. Let's start off this video as I originally intended. Please keep in mind there's a lot of smiles and a lot of laughs. We honestly had no idea what would happen in the days to come. So without further ado, let's start things off at my hometown of Columbus, Georgia, where we had a quick drive to Atlanta.
I'll skip through it a little bit because I don't want to just show the whole video. He goes to a flower shop and gets a wreath to put in the water to, like, pay respects to the people who died in the Titanic. And then he proceeds to go onto the ship, and this is the same ship and rooms that they went out on. This is literally a week, maybe 2 weeks before everything happened. Imagine the survivors guild. Yeah,
it's sweet, huh? Check it out. Got a double bunk bed.
I claim the top one. Kendall's got the bottom one. I've got to be a little quiet. Like I said, there's people sleeping. Got a couch, all our camera gear, clothes, all the stuff we need. And I even brought my pillow from home. And I brought a tiny pillow just in case I want to bring it in the submarine, because I heard it could take up to 14 hours to get back to the surface. So yeah, I'm definitely bringing a little pillow. Well, yeah, check it out. Look, got a little sink, a closet. Oh, here. Open our...
Some quotes he says in this video.
Well, yeah, we have a
these
beautiful
video
view.
clips.
Couch,
Aged
sink,
poorly.
a mirror, our showers and laundry and kitchen all over the ship. So this is just our little personal space. It's honestly everything we need, you know. We feel very comfortable. Right now, you know, they're getting all the submarine stuff all ready to go. They're hooking that up so we can tow out and make our way to the Titanic. So I'm going to sneak to the kitchen, grab myself a cookie, and we'll just kind of figure out what we want to do. Come on.
So he goes on to, like, you know, do a tour of the ship. He talks to quite a few people and everything. But he actually goes down in the submarine. They end up having their dive down to the Titanic canceled and end up just doing a test dive down like 30 feet. Thank God. This was the second to last mission before the one that failed and where this tragedy occurred. So it is possible that if they went down, it could have happened to him. So here's what it is like on video to go in the Titan sub. Obviously not going down to the Titanic itself, but to be in it and for it to be submerged down a few dozen feet of water.
We're on the platform right now, about to get inside the submarine. It's getting real. Jeez. I'm a little nervous now, boys. All right. Shoes off.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, yo.
There's not even like seats.
Alright, we're inside the submarine right now. Got the owner right back there, Stockton. That's the toilet.
Take that one.
A poo bag, a couple.
Hopefully we don't have to use that.
Have you ever had any water leaking in the front?
Ready for unlock, or are we unlocked? Is he saying we are unlocked, or are we ready for unlock?
Bro, that diver. Holy
Yes,
shit.
give him an okay. Give him an,
That is just ice cold, thousands of feet deep, North Atlantic water, and he's just diving out there.
So what does that mean?
Looks like
He's gonna go
locks.
pull the mechanical lock, and we're gonna see how the pneumatic
Yeah,
lock is doing.
Thalassophobia havers in
There's a
chat.
chance we'll pop off.
Still no pings from
He
the
does
top
look like
side?
he's Anderhall. I'm
Hey,
pretty
Stockton,
sure he's
what are
from
you
Florida
using to
too.
control the submarine?
Did
You guys see that?
Mechanical lock is doing. And there's a chance we'll pop off.
still no pings from the top side?
Hey, Stockton, what are you using to control the submarine?
There it is. I hope the controller survived. I hope they recover the controller. And I hope it's fully intact. You have to admit, that would be pretty great. It did, Xanderhall. It's been spotted. You guys have to send confirmation the controller survived. It's fully intact. It's fake. It's a fake, but it's funny. Bro, if it fully survived, whatever type of fucking controller that is, that needs to become the controller they start marketing at gamers that rage hardcore. Because if it can survive the pressure of thousands of feet of water and an implosion of fucking steel and fucking carbon fiber, then it can survive any gamer rage.
Did you're locked in? Okay to lock in?
Okay.
Go to Jimmy.
Okay.
Can he see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That means they're probably gonna bring us up.
Soon. Yeah, you know, because we've had no comms.
More than the stupid controller.
So you know how to eat my last.
More than the stupid controller, I still can't believe that the porthole was directly above the piss bucket. If you can't notice, there's a piss bucket there. They've covered it with a plastic bag, it seems. Literally the only reason to go down there, and you have to peer out over a glorified urinal. That's true. You literally have to lean over the piss shit bucket that they put a plastic bag over and the fan on for some reason to look out the window. Oh my god. Dog. Ah, that's so grody. Dude, why do rich people do this? How are rich people this stupid? Oh my fucking god. How can you be so stupid and have so much money? Oh my god. Do you like lose an IQ point for every $1 million you have in your bank account? Like, does every bit of value that you have in your fucking in funds or in like investments total out to like a negative debuff to your intelligence or something? It just must all be nepotism in regards to inheriting wealth, because Jesus Christ, look at this shit. Hold on. Let me show you what kind of like submarine experience exists for like rich people who have the money. And clearly for this, like, for these people, money was not the issue. Look at these fucking production models for the, for U-Boat Works. Look at this shit. The Sea Researcher series. They've got a model that can go 500 meters, 1,140 meters, 3,000 meters, 300 meters, 1,140 meters, but that has a higher weight capacity. 2,500 meters, 500 meters, 1,700 meters, 300 meters. They've got this Nexus series sub that has 7 seats. It's a 7-seater. They've got the Nexus 7 and Nexus 8. So 7-seater and 8-seater. And this one goes 200 meters on both, but has different weights. The Cruise Sub series, 5-seater, 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 7-seater, 7-seater, 9-seater, 11-seater, and they all have different depths that they can go. This one has the number at the end of all of them is how many people they seat. So 3-seater, Sea Researcher series. But here's the crazy thing. Let's look at the Nautilus. Let's look at the fucking Nautilus, dude. This is what these rich people could be going on, all right? They could be going on the literal fucking Cyclops. It is a yacht and a submarine, dude. It is a yacht and a fucking submarine at the same time. It's fucking insane, bro. Now, this company started out just making, like, research submarines for going down thousands of feet, like thousands of meters even. But, now they've started making toys for rich people. But these rich idiots decide to pay for the piss bucket experience for some reason. And believe me, you'll have to piss in the piss bucket in front of all those people if you go down there, because the expeditions last for hours. So either you're going to be dehydrated as fuck with a sore-ass dry throat, or you're going to be pissing in front of a bunch of other dudes in this metal tube.
Ass cookie.
This is a pretty...
This is the vertical. He's getting aggressive on us.
You guys are bubbles. About to come out.
Yeah, look at
That was a good blow. Not bad, huh?
Which way are we rolling?
Maybe
Okay,
it's
go
part
left.
of the LARP.
I think.
Oh yeah, these people are LARPing as explorers, by the way. Let me remind you. The people who run this thing and go on this thing, LARP is like explorers. Not that they're like tourists, that they're explorers. Like Discovery types, pioneers. It's so LARPy and cringe. It's so fucking cringe, dude. Isn't that sub bigger, though, and not able to get close to the Titanic? No, this is the exact one. It has gone down to the Titanic before. The crazy thing is, this sub is called the Titan, right? And the Titanic is based off the name Titan. So already you've got the parallel there, right? But then you've got the fact that Titans in Greek mythology were beings that were these insanely powerful, huge creatures that thought that they were so big and bad that no one could take them down. And their hubris and overconfidence in their power is what led to their downfall. Why do we keep naming things after the Titans despite just because they're big? And forgetting the other part of that tale. Like, literally, the captain of the Titanic piloted full steam ahead into a field of fucking icebergs on a moonless night because, it's the biggest ship in the world. It's unsinkable. It's the Titanic. And this guy was overconfident in his design. Dude, it's poetic. You have to admit, it is downright fucking poetic.
Right, no, we need attention. Pretty good.
Whoa!
Here come the roll.
They have oh shit handles they have to grab onto.
break the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
Now they're coming back up.
Lean a little left. Keep going left. Balancing. Oh, nice job, Kyle.
Yeah.
Look at the Kyle.
Nice one, man.
I don't know exactly the game plan for this particular dive. We never left a platform. If the fog didn't roll in and cancel the dive, who knows? Maybe we would have left that platform and maybe we would have imploded. But I can tell you right now, I feel like I dodged a bullet, but I also feel very bad for the families who lost loved ones. Like I said before, I didn't know these people too well, but they treated me very nicely and I lost a few friends as well. If you're chasing big dreams and pushing your limits, obviously dangerous things can happen and, can be fatal. In this case scenario,
You guys don't call those oh shit handles? Those handles in cars, I call them oh shit handles. It's a very apt name. It's all you can think to call them in the moment too. I call them useless. They're nice to have. So does my mom. Yeah. Yeah, everyone in my family calls them oh shit handles. Do you know that a Nazi named Schlitt killed people with his shit on a submarine in World War II? I think that's a great area to wrap up this segment on. Listen, awful tragedy that this happened, if I'm being honest. Like, let's be real. Dying at the bottom of the ocean is like, or any way like that is a pretty fucked up way to go. For one of those people, for that one kid, that is, I really don't feel bad for anybody else on that submarine other than the kid. I'm gonna be honest. I really can't bring myself to frown about it. The kid didn't want to go. He was convinced into it. He was kind of coerced. He was scared. He was young, and obviously, I doubt has done anything bad in his life. And on top of that, like, everybody else there, like, were rich assholes that were going down there to, like, marvel at a graveyard of other rich people who pretty much had the same thing happen to them in the same spot. I feel bad for the kid, much like I feel bad for kids that were on the Titanic. Less hard to feel bad for, like, the responsible for the tragedy. If that makes sense.